Class. We're going to touch back on our previous lesson about what plants need. So we were talking about a few different things that are essential to plant life. Diego, what was one thing that we touched on that plants need to survive? Sun. Sun. Okay, they need the sun. We have the sun beaming down on them, making them grow. And Lord, we also talked about one other aspect that plants need to grow. What can you remember what that was? Soil. Soil. Yeah, they need soil. Okay. Soil here. So, Sandra, what's another big picture item that the plants need? Typically, we breathe it in. And they use carbon dioxide to produce oxygen. Okay. So these are a few major things that plants need in order to grow. There's one more aspect though that makes these two plants, or that makes plants grow. Can somebody tell me what another major factor is in plant growth? Okay, water, yeah. So the plants need water. Okay, so between these two plants, um, can you guys make an observation of what maybe separates this one from this one? Did it? So this one probably getting enough water to this one that big one? Yeah, it's obviously getting all of its nutrients right here to make it grow and be healthy. This one's obviously lacking. It obviously has soil and it has sunlight, so it's obviously lacking in the water department here. Okay. So let's think about water. How do plants get their water? Where's the water come from? What? Water comes from the ground, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we got ground. Let's start with ground here. We got our dirt. Okay. And underneath the dirt, we have the water. Okay, so the water's just down there. So how do we get water into the plant? Just gonna think about that for a second. How do you think that plants get water from the ground to their to their uh, in, inside of them so they can utilize it for growth? How do they get the water? Yeah, definitely. We know that everything goes through the roots, up through it, into the leaves, and provides life. Okay, so we got roots, we got water, but how do they go together? How does the roots take the water out of the ground? Yeah, they talk about that really. How we absorb it? Absorb it. Okay. So like we take a bucket of water inside of them so they can utilize it for growth. How do they get the water? Yeah, definitely. We know that everything goes through the roots, up through it, into the leaves, and provides life. Okay. So we got roots, we got water, but how do they go together? How does the roots take the water out of the ground? Yeah, they talk about that really. How we absorb it? Absorb it. Okay. So like we take a bucket of water, sponge, it absorbs water, right? kind of the same idea. With a root, it's like a piece of wood. You got water over here, and it's got to get inside of it. So, how are we going to get the wood? It's an interesting thought. So I think for class today, we should look at maybe an experiment of how water can pass through a membrane. Okay? We'll look at that, and then we'll try to make a conclusion on how this is actually done. So let's gather around our lab table here, and let's think about how we can, use these tools to come up with something for that. So we got a cup here, and we got water. Okay. So right now we have basically, a foundation. So we got our dirt and we got our water. So we got to figure out how we're going to get past a layer. Okay. So if we were to take this here, this would be considered what part of the equation? If we have our water, what separates the water, from the plant? We got our water, we got our plant, but what do we have to go through? We've got wall. Yeah, it's like a membrane at our roots. Yeah, they're like a membrane. Okay. So we're going to take that. Okay. Insert it. Dissect it. Yeah. Alright, so we got our membrane, and we have our water. Now what we need it to do is show how, something passes through the membrane. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some food coloring here. Now, let's make a little bit of observation. What do you think is going to happen when we stick food coloring on the membrane? It'll stay on top. Think it'll stay on top? Maybe. Let's find out. Okay. A couple drops. Okay, let's observe what's going on here. Ooh. So, if you want to run, it's just a different observation. That's a practical thought that, you put something on top of something and try where it's going to get through. So, this is obviously, capable because the particles of the liquid are small enough to get through the particles of the membrane. Just like particles of the water are small enough to get through the membrane of the root. And that's how it's able to pass through to get into the plant to be able to use. So, this concept is called osmosis. And osmosis is how plants take water, stick it into the root system, and use it as a resource for life. Alright? So